Chapter 1. The Beast Monarch. Torchlights dance in the shadows of the forest. The laughing of the mob mimics the calls a pack of hyenas make after a fresh kill. As if to mock their prey. Like the canines when they hunt a gazelle, stir the bloodthirsty mob after brutalizing this young boy. His name is Uzumaki Naruto. He has no family. No one to love him. No one to care for him. Just this night, he was thrown out of the orphanage that abused him all his life. He only knows his age because he learned he was born the night the fox demon attacked the village. That was 7 years ago. The small red-headed boy is barely breathing. He can feel blood in his lungs. He can't move. They left him in the forest for the beasts. He can feel them surrounding him as the mob leaves. He hears their growling. He sees their eyes that are filled with hunger. They close in on him. He closes his eyes as his consciousness leaves him. The last thing he remembers is hearing their call. The beasts. As Naruto awakens, he finds himself in a sewer. He feels something beckoning him to go further inside. He follows, the water sloshing with every footstep. He comes to a large open room. There are 2 figures in the middle of the massive room. The first figure is a beautiful woman with long black hair and what appears to be animal ears on top of her head. Naruto can tell she's easily the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. She has long legs and tan skin. She wears a skirt made of what seems to be animal skin and a top to cover her breasts made of the same material. She wears a necklace made of small bones. She has sharp red eyes and clawed hands and feet. The other figure in the room is a massive man that appears to be more beast than human. He sits on a massive throne made of bones from what appears to be monsters. He has a mane of long black hair. His large, powerful build is slightly covered in the fur and bones of some beast. His hands and feet are massive and clawed. He has similarly sharp eyes that are yellow instead of red. He's the first to speak. "Is this the one who contains you, Kurumi?" he asks, his voice deep and commanding. The woman nods. "He is, my lord. He is my host." The humans call him a Jinchuriki, correct? He asks. "Yes, my lord," she responds. He rises to his feet, a towering hulk of a man. Or beast. Naruto is afraid. He doesn't know either of these people and the man doesn't seem to be friendly. As he approaches Naruto, he stops in front of him, looking down on Naruto as a lion looks at an ant. He narrows his gaze at Naruto before speaking. "I don't have much time here. And frankly, I don't even want to be here." Naruto shivers at the man's tone. "Unfortunately, I don't have much of a choice. I was killed by that damned shadow monarch. Fortunately, my consciousness escaped, albeit only temporarily. I was brought here by Kurumi, the one your people call the Kyuubi no Yuko." Naruto's eyes widen at the revelation. The woman behind him is the one who attacked the village. "Focus, brat. Damn it, humans disgust me so much. Your kind stinks and are so brainless. I have half a mind to eat you and just fade into oblivion." He sighs. "But as the Beast Monarch, it is my obligation to pass my mantle on. And as it seems you're dying as well, neither of us have much time. So I'll make this short. You'll become the new Beast Monarch. Kurumi here will be your guide and companion. Understand?" Naruto is speechless, literally. "TCH, stupid brat," the Beast Monarch says. He reaches down and grabs Naruto by his neck and lifts him up, his grip suffocating young Naruto. He grins sadistically. "Just shut up, brat. Enjoy my power, disgusting human." Raising his free hand, he brandishes his claw. Naruto's eyes widen. He struggles slightly before the Beast Monarch plunges his claw into his abdomen. Naruto opens his mouth to scream but no sound comes out. The Beast Monarch suddenly begins to glow in a red light. The world around Naruto goes black and he loses consciousness. Outside of Naruto's mind, the beasts in the forest suddenly run away in fear. A powerful red beam of energy shoots out of Naruto's chest and into the sky. All of Konoha feel a sudden surge of crushing and oppressive power. Even the mighty Hokage, a man who has seen 2 wars, sweats at the oppressive energy. The 2 other elders who are in the room with him turn and look at Hiruzen. Hiruzen, is that? The woman asks. No, Kaharu, this isn't the same. It's different, stronger and heavier. Hiruzen answers. Those damned civilians. Did they cause the Kyuubi to be released? Homura shouts. You should have done more, Hiruzen. He should have been with Jiraiya and not here where these people want to kill him. Kaharu adds. Hiruzen grits his teeth. We don't know that this is Naruto's doing. Anbu, spread out and search for Naruto. Take any civilians that are even acting remotely suspicious to Ibiki. Suddenly, the night air is split by a bloodthirsty, spine-chilling roar. The sound is so horrifying that all goes silent in the forest and in the village of Konoha. Hiruzen looks out the window towards the forest. What in Kami's name is that? He joins the search for Naruto. He and every Junin and Anbu searched for young Naruto that night. But the boy was nowhere to be found. Are you sure you want to do this, Weasel? The Hokage asks one of his masked Anbu. Yes, Hokage-sama. If this is meant to happen, then I will be the one to do so. The Hokage sighs in sadness. He feels as though something is wrong with the situation. Hell, to his own admission the whole situation is wrong. Remove your mask, Itachi. Hiruzen says. He does. Hirsuen sees the emotionless mask Itachi is wearing. Hiruzen narrows his eyes. What are your true feelings, Itachi? Don't hide it from me. Itachi grits his teeth and immediately begins to tear up. There's something wrong, Hokage-sama. It doesn't make sense for me to murder my entire family. There has to be another way, Itachi says. Hiruzen knew that, even if he was a highly trained Anbu, even he would succumb to emotions. He nods. I agree, Itachi-kun. You've already identified the conspirators, so it doesn't make sense to have to murder your entire family. Hiruzen sees the desperation in Itachi's eyes. He reaches down and picks up the list Itachi provided of the names of conspirators in the Uchiha family to overthrow the Hokage. Doing so would severely weaken the village, making them extremely vulnerable to outside forces and enemy villages. Hiruzen looks at Itachi. Do you plan to do it tonight? Itachi shakes his head. I still have some time before they act. I'd like to find out everything I can before going through with this, Hokage-sama. Maybe there's something else happening that I don't know about. Hiruzen nods. This isn't the type of action one would take on a whim. As Hiruzen reads the list, he fails to notice the squirrel outside his window. Little did he know that the squirrel was being manipulated by a much more powerful being. That being can be seen crouched on top of the Hokage monument. Naruto, now 14 years old, stands at a full height of 5 feet 11 inches tall. Extremely well-muscled but not a hulking menace like the previous beast Monarch, he is very lean and athletically built. His claws are sharp enough to rend steel like butter and his teeth can crush stone. Beside him stands his loyal partner and lover, Kurumi. He processes the information relayed by the squirrel and turns to Kurumi, giving her a nod. The two disappear in a burst of speed. Naruto appears outside of a cave on the outskirts of Konoha. The cave has a genjutsu over it to disguise its true purpose. Naruto easily sees through it as no genjutsu affects him, even those cast by Kurumi who uses demonic illusions. He enters into the deep cave and comes to a massive door. The door appears to be protected by a powerful seal that can only be activated by certain people. Naruto smirks. Brandishing his claws, Naruto grabs the door, his claws digging deep into the metal and twisting and warping the steel construct. With an explosion of raw, otherworldly strength, Naruto tears the door open like he's ripping a piece of paper. The sound alerts the inhabitants, and several root members confront the intruder. As they appear, Naruto cracks a very sinister grin. The root Anbu attack in a group. They draw the ninjutsu and slash at Naruto, only for their swords to bounce off of Naruto's body. Naruto chuckles as they pause to look at him. My turn. He grabs two of the root members by their faces, crushing their skulls in his bare hands. He then tosses them against the facility walls, making a sickening squelch noise. Another member attacks Naruto, who simply catches their sword without looking at them. He crushes the blade, grabs them by the neck and tears off their mask. Naruto then takes his other hand and grabs the top of their head. He opens his mouth wide and sees the look of terror on the root Anbu's face as he sees the sharp teeth that line Naruto's mouth. Naruto then bites down on his face, muffled screams and blood-curdling shrieks following. He then tears off his face, chewing and swallowing. The man falls to the ground, twitching grotesquely before going limp. Root Anbu are supposed to be emotionless. But Naruto just put the fear back in them. Deep inside the base, Danzo can hear the butchering of his agents as well as their screams. He's terrified. Before long, Danzo comes face to face with Naruto. He meets the terrifying beast Monarch in one of the corridors. All of his root agents have been dismembered, torn limb from limb, some eaten, none recognizable. Danzo speaks. "Who are?" Naruto interrupts him and grabs his face, lifting him into the air. Naruto moved so quickly that Danzo was incapable of seeing his movements. He then grabs Danzo's right arm. "I know about your little secret, weak man. I can see the chakra flowing inside you. Not gonna help this time." He tears off Danzo's right arm, revealing an appendage full of Sharingan eyes. He slams Danzo's head into the wall behind him and stabs a finger into the bandages. He pulls out the eye, revealing another Sharingan, a Mangekyo. He throws it to the ground. Naruto then says, "You tried so many times to get the old man to give me to you. You even tried to kill him. You claim to be supporting these people from the shadows, yet your actions only hurt the shinobi clans of Konoha. You sicken me, mortal. And now, you even have a hand in destroying one of these clans." Naruto chuckles. "No, not this time." Danzo goes to speak but Naruto bites his face. Tearing his head off, he drops the lifeless form of Danzo to the ground. He then goes to study what files Danzo kept hidden from the Hokage. His findings disgust Naruto. Reaching the mouth of the cave, Naruto destroys the genjutsu and flares his power, signaling the Hokage and the Anbu to come and find this place. Naruto then disappears before anyone can find him. The Hokage arrives accompanied by Itachi, hopeful that he may have found Naruto. His Anbu arrive with him. What they find instead is the opening of a cave. The Hokage motions for them to follow him. Inside they find what appears to be a door torn open by some kind of monster. Hiruzen has a feeling he knows what this is. This must be the entrance to Danzo's root base. Walking inside, they find a scene that makes even the Hokage, a veteran of 2 shinobi wars, sick to his stomach. He covers his mouth and nose and turns away momentarily. Bodies with their faces apparently bitten off, bodies with limbs torn off, bodies completely torn in half, limbs scattered everywhere, claw marks on torn flesh, blood on the floors and walls. Organs and eyeballs, burn marks and displaced earth, signs of a shinobi battle. The Anbu grimace at the scene. "Hokage-sama, it looks as though they were killed by beasts," Itachi says. Hiruzen nods. The carnage was not easy to stomach. He can even see that Itachi is slightly unnerved. The Hokage pauses as do the Anbu and Itachi. They see the decapitated head and body of Danzo with the Sharingan arm and the Mangekyo eye nearby. Itachi grits his teeth and flashes his Sharingan. "Calm yourself, Itachi. Let's inspect this place carefully," Hiruzen says. The Anbu spread out, going through the files in the root base. Their findings enrage Hiruzen. He discovers evidence that prove he was partially responsible for the destruction of Uzushiogakure, had dealings with Hanzo the Salamander, and cooperated with Orochimaru. Danzo was guilty of multiple counts of treason, many of which could have resulted in the fall of Konoha. The worst piece of evidence that Itachi found was the instigation of a coup with the Uchiha clan. Danzo planned to betray the clan and in the aftermath of the massacre, steal their eyes for himself. This enraged Itachi. Danzo even orchestrated Itachi's orders to slaughter his family, although he planned to leave his little brother, Sasuke, alive. Itachi. He turns and looks at Hiruzen. "We have all the evidence we need. I want to meet with Fugaku, as he and the Uchiha elders are the primary antagonists in this situation. I want to try to mend things between the Uchiha clan and the village. It sickens me that we were all manipulated by Danzo. Itachi nods. But another question arose in Itachi's head. Hokage-sama, while the information we found here can help preserve our village for much longer, who could have done this? And without alerting us until after they've left, as well. This question resonated with Hiruzen as well. Whoever it was is extremely powerful, frighteningly so. If they easily killed the dozens of root Anbu here, overwhelmed Danzo and disabled his Sharingan effortlessly, they were most definitely more powerful than Hiruzen himself is. But Hiruzen is at a loss of who it could be. I have no idea, Itachi. But whoever it is did us a favor. By killing Danzo and eliminating his root, they've taken care of a threat that existed within our very own walls. I just hope they aren't our enemy. Kami, help us if that ever changes. In the following days, Hiruzen met with Uchiha Fugaku, the intended leader of the rebellion. Presenting the information retrieved from Danzo's facility, he diffused the situation. The Uchiha clan was being manipulated and the eyes of their deceased were being harvested by Danzo for his use. He explained that it was never his intention to control the Uchiha clan or weaken their power or influence. If they wanted to relocate to their original location, they were free to do so whenever they wished. Fugaku understood and fully agreed that his clan was manipulated by Danzo. Considering the consequences, a coup would have likely resulted in the destruction of the Uchiha clan anyways, one way or another. Whether from the resulting civil war or the rival hidden villages attacking the weakened Konoha. The differences between Hiruzen and the Uchihas were settled and Fugaku went and explained the situation to his clan. Itachi was eternally grateful to whoever helped save his clan. He began to open up more to his parents and brother. He apologized for being so cold and distant. He helped train his brother and spent more time with his mother and father. Itachi made a vow that if he ever found who prevented him from killing his clan, he would thank them any way he can. The Forest of Death, an infamous part of Konoha where even the bravest and most steadfast Junin avoid. Only one person ever comes here regularly. Her name is Mitarashi Anko. She comes here to get away from the villagers who hate her. Not because of who she is but because of what she had no control over. Anko is the former apprentice of Orochimaru of the Sannin. When he betrayed the village, he abandoned her and branded her with his curse mark. She is now a village pariah, much like Naruto was. When Anko learned of Naruto's burden and what he had to experience, it made her dislike for the villagers turn to hatred. When it became knowledge that the civilians left Naruto in the Forest of Death, it almost brought the village to civil war. Anko distanced herself even further from the village. As Anko lands on a tree branch, she decides to take a break and rest. The Forest of Death to her is a comfortable and peaceful place. She decides to relax, until she senses a presence approaching. She turns and sees an large white tiger stalking her. She summons a sword from a seal on her wrist and smirks. Anko's pastime in here is killing beasts. The tiger lunges and Anko expertly dodges. She leaps back in and delivers several slashes to the tiger. The tiger jumps away but staggers. Anko knows that the poison her sword passively secretes is working. Suddenly, Anko hears the shrubbery giving way and turns to see another tiger lunge from her side. She blocks the oncoming bite with her forearm, screaming in pain as the tiger bites through bone, almost taking her arm completely off before she stabs it with her sword. Anko stands staring at the other tiger, panting heavily as her arm limply dangles, bleeding heavily. In the clearing she stands in, she stares down the tiger opposite to her. Until to each of her sides, she sees more tigers make themselves known, entering the clearing. 2 to her right and 1 to her left. Anko's eyes widen in horror. What the fuck? Tigers don't hunt in packs. The beasts circle her. Anko is panicking. She's injured, bleeding heavily, and can't take them all on. Her only option is to make a run for it. But she's injured and unable to move as fast. Any sudden movements and the tigers will likely attack. Shit, am I going to die here? Suddenly, one of the tigers lunge. Anko closes her eyes, waiting for the end. The tiger almost reaches her but out of nowhere, a red blur intercepts the massive beast, hitting it and sending it flying into a tree. Another figure, with long black hair, leaps onto another tiger, claws rending flesh. Anko opens her eyes to see the carnage. The figure with red hair leaps at the tiger he sent into a tree and pins it to the ground. He then proceeds to rip its head off with his bare hand. He stands up and turns around. Anko blushes at this kami of a man. Long red hair that reaches down his black, wild and untamed. Perfectly tanned skin, piercing yellow eyes with black slits. He's tall, easily about 6 feet 4 inches. He's muscular but not hulking. He has very defined muscles with athletic proportions. Anko blushes at his attire. His back is covered by the skin of a white tiger, its head serving as a pauldron for his left shoulder. He wears a pelt that seems to be from a boar to cover up his pelvic region. It's secured by a belt that seems to be made from the bones of many animals. His wrists and ankles seem to be covered by the fur and bones of a bear. The two figures stare down the two remaining tigers. They each are poised and ready to attack. The tigers are circling in opposite directs, so the other two do the same. All four lunge at the same time. The woman bares her teeth and claws, catching the tiger, and the two crash in the ground. The woman wrestles to the dominant position first. She opens her mouth and bites down through the tiger's spinal cord. The man's kill was much more brutal. He caught the tiger's mouth in midair and wrestled him to the ground. Gripping the tiger's upper and lower mouth, he snapped the tiger's jaw and brutally slammed its head into the ground. He then smashed its skull with a punch that left a crater in the ground. The two figures look at each other and nod. The man then approaches Anko, who is looking worse for wear. She's sweating and panting. He wonders why. Sure, her arm was shattered and she was bleeding a lot, but she looks like she's dying. Then he sees the mark on her shoulder. He can sense the malevolence coming from it. He turns to the woman. "My name is Naruto. That mark on your shoulder seems to be killing you. I can remove it, but it will cost you. Will you accept?" Anko's eyes widen. She immediately nods, which makes him smirk. He opens his mouth, revealing a terrifying maw of sharp teeth. He bites down on her shoulder over the mark. She feels a burning sensation followed by pain. She screams before passing out. Naruto releases her and smirks. Turning to Kurumi, he says, "Looks like we have our first ally, Kurumi. A beautiful one, too." Kurumi approaches Naruto and lays her head on his shoulder. Naruto gropes her rear, making her moan slightly. Now all we do is wait. When Anko comes to, she's disoriented. Every noise is loud, every smell is strong, everything is bright and clear. Her mouth is dry and she moves her tongue around in her mouth. Her eyes widen. She notices that her teeth are sharp. Like a predator, she looks around and notices that Naruto and the woman are sitting on a rock, the woman resting her head on Naruto's chest while Naruto runs his claws through her hair. He smiles at Anko. "How do you like your new gifts?" he asks. Anko shudders at his voice. Powerful and commanding. Anko fights something in her instincts that are screaming, "Alpha," at her. She musters up the courage and walks over to him. "What did you do to me?" she asks. Naruto smirks. "I saved you and changed you. You're now much stronger, but in exchange you belong to me." Anko's eyes widen and then narrow. "What do you mean I belong to you?" Naruto answers, "Simple, you're my mate. You gain a portion of my abilities but not enough to challenge me for dominance. And that curse mark on your shoulder is gone too. When you were injured it began to try to take you over. Nasty little bastard." Anko then feels around to try to find it but can't. She only feels a different mark, one that isn't evil or hot to the touch. "What is this mark?" she asks. "That's my mate mark," he says. Anko nods and approaches him. She grabs his face and gives him a hot, passionate kiss. She pulls back and smiles. "Thank you, handsome. My name is Anko, by the way. You saved me, twice. You saved my life first and then you gave me my life back. I'd be happy to be your mate." She then sits on his lap and leans her head against his chest. Kurumi smiles kindly but gives off a territorial vibe to Anko, who returns it. The two glare holes into each other's eyes. "Now girls, you're going to have to share. No fighting over me, I have plenty to go around." But I'm surprised, you're taking this quite well for someone who just met me, Anko-chan. Anko smiles. I'm not used to kindness or compassion. I'm one of the village pariahs. If news got out the Konohas, Snake Whore, died in the Forest of Death, they'd celebrate. You'd understand, right, Naruto-kun? You're the other one who died in the Forest of Death. What happened that night? Naruto grimaces. He then proceeds to recount the night he became the Beast Monarch. He also told her of his training in the Forest of Death and also how he's been secretly watching the village destroy itself. He knows of the rift between the civilian population and the shinobi population. He also knows how after the Hokage abolished the civilian council for corruption, it caused an uproar which compounded the tension between the civilians and the shinobi families. Naruto is also aware of how the shinobi families loved Naruto and helped him when they could. He used his control of woodland creatures to spy and learn many of Konoha's secrets. He found that the shinobi families cared for him. Many tried to adopt him, only to be denied somehow by the corrupted civilian council. Even the Uchiha clan, who Naruto saved 2 years ago, had once helped him. Well, not all of them but an Uchiha woman. When Naruto was 5 years old he found his way near the Uchiha district being chased by another bloodthirsty mob. The one who came to his rescue was a raven-haired woman with black eyes. She was very beautiful to Naruto's memory. Seeing her, the villagers recognized who she was and left Naruto alone. She turned and helped Naruto up, taking him back to the Uchiha compound. She nursed his wounds, let him take a bath, fed him, and gave him food for later. The woman's name was Uchiha Makoto. She was one of the people he would do anything to save, hence why he interfered the way he did. By saving the Uchiha clan, he saved Makoto. Anko looks up at Naruto and asks him a question. What do you plan to do now, Naruto-kun? Naruto chuckles. Now, I plan to return to that accursed village. The humans are weak but I'll never forget what some of them have done for me. I'll save the ones I care about and destroy the rest of the village. Afterwards, I'll rebuild the village that once was home to my clan. I'll rebuild the Uzumaki clan into an empire. Anko smiles and nods. As long as I'm there with you, Naruto-kun. I'll go wherever you go. Naruto smiles and kisses Anko's forehead. Anko then realizes something and asks Naruto a question that's been bugging her. Naruto-kun, how did you come across all this information? Naruto chuckles. I can communicate with beasts and animals. I'm the beast monarch, so it's just a matter of my natural affinity. Beasts and animals are an inconspicuous way of information gathering. Who would suspect birds or rodents of spying on them? Anko chuckles and kisses Naruto's cheek. The trio get to their feet and head towards Konoha. It's time to pay the old man a visit. Anko then brings up a good point first. Naruto-kun, I think you should wear something else at least. You'll attract quite a bit of unnecessary attention with that clothing. Naruto considers for a moment and then nods. Yeah, you're right, Anko-chan. But where can I get clothes from? Anko then tells Kurumi and Naruto that she'll go buy some clothes for them. When she returned, Kurumi got dressed in a black kunoichi outfit. The top is a black sleeveless form-fitting crop top that exposes her midriff with black form-fitting shorts. Naruto, on the other hand, dreaded getting dressed. He wore black Anbu-style pants with black sandals. Instead of a shirt, Naruto simply donned a black trench coat. To their own admission, Naruto looked downright sexy. He refused to take off his necklace though. After getting dressed, the trio headed out of the forest and towards the Hokage Tower. On their way to the Hokage Tower, Naruto attracted the gazes of many people. His long, fiery red untamed mane, tan skin, and dominating appearance caused a crisis for many women's panties. Kurumi caused similar issues as well, having hanged her ears. She was extremely beautiful. Her tan skin and long womanly legs coupled with her excellent proportions became the desire of the male villagers and the envy of the women. How ironic that the two people they are drooling over are the fearsome nine-tailed fox and the vessel that they hated so much. They can still feel the glares that Anko was receiving, but Naruto and Kurumi pay the ignorant villagers no attention since Anko didn't care. They enter the Hokage tower and head to the front desk. Coming to the receptionist, they tell her that they are here to see the Hokage. She blushes at the sight of Naruto but lets them go ahead in, scowling at Anko when she walks by. Naruto knocks on the door to the Hokage's office. Hearing, "Enter," he walks in followed by Kurumi and Anko. The Hokage's eyes widen at Naruto, not recognizing him but feeling the power rolling off of him. Naruto speaks up, "Hey, old man. We need to talk." Hiruzen narrows his eyes at the man's tone. "Young man, you're obviously very powerful, but I am the Hokage of this village." "I will not." Hiruzen freezes and pales. Naruto releases a killing intent at Hiruzen that causes him to see death flashes. The killing intent is so strong and concentrated that the Anbu guards are choking and struggling in the ceiling above. "Calm down, old man. I'm not here to hurt you, but I won't have you talking down to me. Are we clear?" Hiruzen nods hesitantly. Naruto sighs, reeling in his killing intent. He notices the Anbu ready to go on the offensive. "If you insects up there try to attack me, I'll paint this room with your innards." His threat gives them pause. They can tell he's powerful enough to pull that threat off. Anko decides to step forward. All right, you all need to chill, okay? Calm down, old man, he's not an enemy. You too, Yu-chan. Don't hold it against him. He's just a bit of an animal." "I prefer beast, Anko-chan." Naruto retorts, cracking a grin. "Semantics, babe," Anko responds winking. Hiruzen is confused by Anko's words. "You're acquainted with him, Anko." Anko smiles and nods. "More than that, I love him," she chimes, embracing one of his arms. Hiruzen's eyes widen. Anko was notorious for her violent nature towards men. She was very distrustful towards men and cruelly punished any man that made derogatory remarks towards her. Hiruzen sighs. "Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. May I know your name at least?" "Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto." He answers with a smirk. Hiruzen's eyes widen and he rushes over to Naruto, checking to make sure he is real. "Naruto, it's really you, Naruto." Naruto nods. Hiruzen falls into tears. "I'm sorry, Naruto. I failed you. I should have protected you, should have forced Jiraiya to take you out of the village. I blamed myself for your death all these years, Naruto. I'm so sorry." Naruto smiles. "It isn't your fault, old man. I don't blame you or any of the shinobi clans. I know how much they all cared and understood who I am. I know they all knew who my parents were, as it was a shinobi matter. And I know how much they each tried to help me. I have no hatred for them. The ones at fault are the civilians." Hiruzen nods in agreement. The civilians are blinded by their own hatred. Naruto proceeds to tell him the story of how he became the Beast Monarch, recounting the night civilians left him for dead in the Forest of Death. He told him how when he became the Beast Monarch, Kurumi's soul separated from his own. He explained that Kurumi attacked Konoha because she was controlled by a Mangekyo user, although she would be immune to that now after gaining Naruto's power through the mate mark. Naruto then explained his training, although he left out his ability to communicate with and control animals. He explained that he decided it was time for him to get reintegrated into Konoha and that he intended to become a shinobi. Hiruzen could obviously tell there was some ulterior motive but decided to let it pass, as he was nowhere near strong enough to challenge Naruto. He'll try to use this to get to know Naruto better, which Naruto could obviously see was his intention. There was no malevolence on either side, just ample curiosity on Hiruzen's part. Hiruzen handed Naruto a scroll and told him to head to the academy and hand the scroll to the Chunin instructor, Iruka, and he'll settle Naruto in. Naruto nods and turns to leave until Hiruzen gets his attention. "Naruto," he says, causing Naruto to turn around. "I can't apologize enough for what you had to suffer through. If there is anything you ever need, just come to me. My door is always open for you or your mates." And here, he removes the picture of the fourth Hokage and unseals an envelope and 2 keys. The envelope was the deed to Naruto's inheritance. The keys belong to the Uzumaki and Namikaze compounds. He hands them to Naruto. These belong to you, Naruto. Take them and to hell with what the civilians say. Naruto smiles and nods at the old man. He was an incompetent old fool at times, but Naruto knew he had a kind heart and always had the best of intentions. Naruto leaves the Hokage tower, and as they are walking, Anko asks him a question. Why do you plan on being a shinobi for this village, Naruto-kun? Shouldn't we just burn it to the ground and go somewhere else? Naruto chuckles. We could do that, Anko-chan, sure. But that would mean killing everyone in the village. And I still have people I care about in this village. Plus, I'm sure you still have friends, don't you? Anko nods. She thinks of her close friends, Yuhi Kurenai, Azuki Yugo, and Inuzuka Hana. They are like sisters to her and she definitely wants to save them. Naruto notices her expression and smiles. See, not everyone here treated you poorly either, am I right? Anko nods. That's exactly why we'll take our time. And once we've gathered everyone worth sparing, we'll butcher the rest and head for Uzushiogakure. I'll have to have the village rebuilt first, of course. As of now, it's in ruins. But our clan shall rise again. And this village will burn for its ignorance. Anko smiles, hugs Naruto's arm. Kurumi smiles and lays her head on his shoulder. After walking a distance away from the Hokage tower, Naruto instructs Anko and Kurumi to head to the Uzumaki compound and settle in. He'll head to the academy and see what that's all about. He gives his two lovers a kiss and heads to the Konoha Shinobi Academy. TBC